Hi everybody, I wanted to do an update about our infertility treatment. So the last video that I uploaded that talked about it was in the one that talked about the crazy dreams. I had talked about how they wanted me to go in for an ultrasound and see what the follicles looked like and maybe give me a trigger shot to make me ovulate if I hadn't yet. And they wanted me to come in for cycle day 16. The more I thought about it and talked to people, cycle day 16 was just too late. And I had sent an email to my nurse just wanting to clarify that cycle day 16 was the right day to come in. And she said that whoever I talked to on the phone was wrong, and that cycle day 16 would have been too late because I would have ovulated before that. So we rescheduled it to cycle day 11. That would hopefully catch me before I ovulated. So that was yesterday. I went in the morning before work and had the ultrasound done, and I had really big follicles that looked like they were ready to ovulate soon. One was about 18 millimeters, another one was about 15, and then there were others that were just a little bit smaller. And he said the 18 millimeter one would be definitely ready to go, and if I wanted I could wait another day or so to let the 15 millimeter one get a little bit bigger. And he recommended doing the trigger shot as well to ensure that I ovulated and they knew when I'd ovulate. And then he said to go home and still do the OPK just to be sure that I don't have that surge before I do the trigger shot. So before I left the office, the nurse gave me the trigger shot, told me how to mix it up and get it ready to go, and gave me some instructions, so I was ready to do that and scheduled, and told me to do that Wednesday, that would be today, between 11 o'clock and 3 a.m. in order to do the IUI on Friday. So I went home, waited until about bedtime to do that OPK. It was about 9 o'clock when I did it, and it was positive. I have never gotten a positive OPK, ever. And I think it's because I've been testing at the wrong time. I've always done my first urine of the morning. Yesterday I had done my second urine because I knew that the nurse had recommended doing the second one. So I did my first test yesterday at about like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And then the second test I did yesterday was at 9 o'clock at night. So clearly my surge happens in the evening time, and no wonder I've never gotten a positive because I've always tested in the morning. Or later on in my cycle, like on a later cycle day, I've been testing twice a day, but by then I've ovulated. So that makes total sense. So if this cycle doesn't work out, I'll know better when to test and won't necessarily need to do an ultrasound again. Anyway, so I got a positive result on that, which meant that I needed to call the doctor and find out when to go in for the IUI procedure. So since it was 9 o'clock at night, I had to wait until the morning of today to call them. So I called like first thing. I think I was probably their first person that called, and I called at 8 in the morning and said, I got a positive. I think my doctor said to schedule the IUI for cycle day 13. And it would have been like 48 hours or something after the LH surge. So she scheduled me for Thursday at like 1 o'clock or something. And I was really excited. I was like, yay, tomorrow, Thursday, I have the day off. I'm not doing anything. That'll be perfect. It's all working out. I don't have to give myself a shot of more hormones and foreign objects in my body. So I was really excited. And then I kept thinking about what I know about ovulation and the LH surges on the tests, and realized that Thursday would probably be too late, because I know that you typically ovulate within 24 hours of that surge on the home test. So 24 hours would have been like 9 o'clock tonight, Wednesday. So the doctor's office was closing at noon today. And I was thinking about this like at 11 o'clock, thinking, Thursday doesn't sound right. I don't think I need to go in on Thursday, and I put some questions up on the Facebook group that I follow, and they all confirmed that I should probably be doing it earlier than Thursday to catch the ovulation. So I hurried and called the doctors at like 11:30. They're closing in like 30 minutes. And I called directly to the nurse's line this time to see what the nurses recommended. And I said, I got a positive on the OPK last night at 9 o'clock. I've scheduled the IUI for Thursday. Does that sound right to you? And she said, yeah, that sounds good. That'll be fine. So I said, okay, it's not too early. It's not too late. No, it's fine. So we hung up. Fine. Still didn't feel right about it. And like a second later, she called me back and said, did you say you got the positive OPK last night or this morning? I said, last night at 9 o'clock at night. And she said, oh, you need to do your IUI today, Wednesday, not Thursday. I said, well, is it possible? I know that you guys close early today. And she said, yeah, let me put you through to the receptionist and we'll get it scheduled and figured out. So the receptionist said that, so by now it's like 11:40. And the receptionist said, well, if you can come in at noon, your husband can do the semen, or the semen sample, the sperm sample, and then you can come back at 1:30 and do the IUI. Kind of put a kink in our plans for the day because Adrian's cousin was getting sealed in the temple today at 1 o'clock and we really wanted to be there, but the timing wasn't going to work out. We weren't going to be able to go later because they were closing and we had to go at that time. So we decided to skip the temple trip and go for the procedure. So we got there, Adrian went in, did his thing, and we went and got some lunch, waited the hour that it took for them to, they have to clean and separate the semen from the sperm and then separate all the good swimming sperm from maybe the slower ones, so that takes about an hour, I guess. So they had to do that, and then went back at 1:30 and did my part. And it wasn't horrible. Basically they just put a speculum in to open you up, just like a pelvic exam, and then they have the sperm, the like concentrated sperm, it's like a tiny amount, like this much, and they have it in like a syringe type thing with a long skinny tube. I'll put a picture up. And so once they've opened you up, they have to insert the skinny catheter tube in through the cervix and straight into the uterus. So the part that was the most painful was just getting it through the cervix. That part is always so crampy for me with any of the procedures I've had done, but not horrible, not as bad as some other procedures I've had done. Then after once the catheter was in my uterus, she just inserted the sperm right then and then took everything out, and it was done within like 3 minutes. It was really fast. And then she said, just lay here for about 10 minutes and then you can go. So just laid there for a while. Adrian came in the room with me. It was a little weird. Didn't need to do that. I think if we do this again, I don't think I need him to be there. He was just searching for tents on KSL the whole time. So he just sat there, kept looking, and I just laid there. Then got up and left. So now we've had an IUI done. But now we wait. The dreaded 2-week wait. It's bad enough, that 2-week wait, just on a normal period cycle, just waiting to see if your period's going to come again, even if you haven't tried any treatments. But now that I've had the IUI done, the anticipation is going to kill me, I think. The end of the 2-week wait for us this cycle is May 24th. That will be the end of the 14 days. And that is right before school gets out for the summer. So that'll be an interesting surprise to deal with like as the school year's wrapping up. And I'm transitioning into this new job. So yeah, so now we're waiting. Some things that were good news was that I had 2 or 3 really good size follicles, and I don't really know how it works. If I didn't get the trigger shot, I don't know if 2 eggs will might still release this cycle, or if just the biggest one will release. I'm not really sure how that works. Maybe I'll do a little more research. But he was saying if I had had the trigger shot, the 2 eggs could have released at the same time, resulting in possible multiples like twins or triplets. So without the trigger shot, I don't really know what that means. Also, they showed us Adrian's sperm details, and he had a lot that came in the sample, so that increases chances. They said anything over 10 million is good. He had like 23 million, so that sounds good to me, and I think it should increase our chances, but I don't really know for sure. The other good news is that I ovulated naturally. Last month I mentioned that the medicine prevented my ovulation, which was really confusing to me, so I was glad to see that this time I will have ovulated on my own kind of on my own. I took the medicine, but I didn't have to have the trigger shot, which is good, I think. And I think the good news is that I finally got a positive on the OPK. I've been trying to get a positive on that dumb test, and I feel like now I kind of know why. So if this cycle doesn't work out, I think I'll be able to detect it a little bit easier next cycle. I'll keep you updated as it gets closer to the end of the 2-week wait, just letting you know how I'm feeling and maybe any symptoms I've experienced. Today I've been feeling a little bit crampy, but I think that's just because of the catheter going through my cervix. Any other procedures I've ever had that have to go through the cervix, I've been crampy the day of, but I'm anticipating that will go away. The cruel thing is that pre-pregnancy symptoms are also premenstrual symptoms. That really is not fair. Anyways, so that was fun. This IUI came up really quickly and kind of happened fast. Not a lot of time to mentally prepare, but I'm glad that it's done and over with, and now we just wait, and I don't have to have any of the stress of trying to figure out like my cycle days and what to do and who to see and what medicines to take and not take, and so that's kind of a good thing as well. Anyways, there's an update. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can comment below, but I'll try to keep you updated a little bit later in my cycle just to see how I'm feeling and what's going on. Thanks for watching. Bye.